Hello everyone. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person today. I have a long history with this event, and when Carlos invited me to speak this year, I was very sad I could not be there. Particularly because this year, on 31st July, ArcelorMittal will celebrate its 20th anniversary. And as Carlos reminded me that in June 2006, I spoke at Steel Success Strategies, as it was then called. I managed to find the speech that I gave that year. It made very interesting reading. Unsurprisingly, as we were in the later stages of the merger process at that time, I focused on explaining why the prospects for combining Mittal Steel and Arcelor were so compelling. I ended then explaining why the fit was exceptional. I said, two excellent companies with genuinely complementary strengths, the few overlaps, the great synergies, that represents a true step change for the industry. There is no other combination that provides a similar compelling strategic and value proposition. Fortunately, the shareholders of both companies agreed and ArcelorMittal was born. If I look back over the 20 years, I genuinely believe that the merger did indeed create a stronger company, benefiting from greater scale, diversification, resilience, and strategic reach. Clearly, as is always the way, there have been events we did not anticipate. The aftershocks of the global financial crisis are still with us, and the fallout from COVID has been similarly dramatic. I'm adamant, though, that we navigated these shocks better together than we could have done separately. And now here we are in 2026, perhaps no longer the largest steel company in the world, but still leading on many fronts and still with the hunger, energy, and determination to help shape the industry positively for the future. Operating in 2026 is obviously very different to 2006. If the physical world looks similar on the surface, daily life today is faster, more connected, more technology driven, and more shaped by constant information and social change. I always find it astonishing to remember that the first iPhone did not launch until June 2007. All our communication during the merger was done on a BlackBerry. Doing business is also dramatically different. At the time of the merger, the spirit of the times was clearly globalization, a concept from which there has been a notable retreat in recent years. Back in 2006, we were not talking much about China. Yet the exponential growth of China's steel industry and the subsequent flow of sub-economic production from that country onto world market has been the key industry development of the last 20 years. We are not talking about decarbonization, and this has been a critical policy issue that all steel makers have had to grapple with over the past decade. Certainly, we were not talking about artificial intelligence. Today, markets move faster. Competition is more global. Technology changes constantly, and companies are expected to adapt in real time. Even traditional industries like ours operate in a faster, more global, more data-driven, and more environmentally constrained world than they did in 2006. So while a steel mill in 2026 still physically resembles one from 2006, the economics, technology expectations, regulatory pressures, and pace of decision making are very different. Despite all the turbulence and unpredictability of today's world, the outlook for steel is very encouraging, with several demand engines having the potential to align. The first is the continued emerging market build out with a focus on India. The last 20 years has been characterized by China's remarkable growth. Now it is India's turn, with massive infrastructure expansion, rapid urban housing growth, and energy transition infrastructure all on the cards. In my 2006 speech, I said, if companies want to achieve consistent and sustained profitability across the cycle, then They must be embedded in both the fast-growing emerging markets and the higher value-added developed markets. I stand by that today, and ArcelorMittal has significant growth plans in India through our joint venture AM-India. In the developed world, meanwhile, demand will be supported by the global infrastructure replacement cycle and the energy transition, which is steel intensive. Think wind turbines, electricity grid expansion, EV manufacturing plants, and even nuclear. This theme extends into automotive and the EV transition. But the truly incremental demand will likely come from AI and the significant increase in electricity that will be needed to fuel this computing power. The increased electricity need will drive demand for energy infrastructure beyond that due to simple replacement of old infrastructure. We can't ignore robotics, but the implications of this are still to be fully determined. It is likely to be less about raw tons and more about high-strength, lightweight steels. A new theme, one driven by geopolitics and which I would not have predicted in 2006, is a stronger domestic industrial policy with steel increasingly becoming strategically protected. Key drivers of the move to stronger domestic industrial policies have been rising geopolitical tensions and the fallout from COVID, both of which increase focus on supply chain resilience and strategic self-sufficiency. COVID really showed us just how disruptive things could get if any entity or region failed to deliver key components of strategically important supply chains. Imbalances in every cost, further exacerbated by geopolitical tensions, have also been an important contributing factor to the rise of a stronger domestic industrial policy. Given the persistent challenge our industry faces with overcapacity, trade, and the uneven shape of decarbonization, ArcelorMittal supports this new direction. So there are plenty of reasons to remain optimistic and excited about the future. I have no doubt that we will continue to face plenty of challenges and unexpected events. But honestly, I can say that after 50 years in the steel industry, there is no place I would rather be. I hope you all have a great conference. Thank you.